Hey there, Planet Coaster fans, theme park enthusiasts, and friends of the channel. My name is Shadow Phoenix, and welcome back here to Kings Falls in Planet Coaster. What is Kings Falls? Well, Kings Falls is my newest park here in the game that I've been working on for the last little bit. And it is answering a question, a what-if question. What if the company who made Kings Island and Kings Dominion, Kings Entertainment basically was the name of them, what if they built a third theme park with the King's name on it? And what if they were never bought out by Paramount and Cedar Fair and just kind of kept rolling along through history the way that they were? So this park is kind of it's my own version of those two parks. It's not really a combination of the two or anything. It's just kind of, you know, my own version. And I've set the park in Kentucky. And the last episode, we worked on, well, actually, I just showed off the first side of our main street, our International Street. And something that I never actually even knew about this until I started working on this main street was that back in the old days when the parks first opened, the reason it's called International Street is because it's actually like 5 different nationalities represented along the street. You have French, obviously, you have Swiss, you have German, you have Italy, and you have Spain. And the first side of the park was the German and Swiss side. That's the first side of the main street over there. Now we're over here on the other side of Main Street today, working on the Spanish section that you're seeing me do right now. And this is something, what you're seeing me do right now is I was making my own Spanish roof, basically. Those Spanish tiled roofs. I've noticed, it seems like there's only like one good roof set in Planet Coaster that has like a 1 meter, a 2 meter, a 4 meter. All the other ones seem to be only be like, you know, one size or just like 2 meters or 4 meters, and they don't really give you much options other than that. And I don't know why that is. It's just lazy design in my opinion, but that's just my thoughts. I really wish they would eventually go back and just finish the sets. They're completely unfinished. That's the only excuse for that. There is no other excuse for why we have one set that has like multiple sizes, and then all the other ones are just like, oh yeah, we just didn't want to do that. it's pretty much all there is to it. So how did I make my own Spanish tile roof? Well, I looked around at all the different pieces that we had, and I settled upon the tiny little wooden pole pieces. I think it's like 1 meter long. And then I just kind of overlaid it down through there and made the roof. Unfortunately, you can't change the color of it. It's something else that does suck. But we can actually, you know, like, at least they're different sizes. I also, for that one little section of the building you just watched me build there, I also made my own Spanish tiles as well. And I basically took a wooden pole, or a wooden beam, I turned it sideways, and then just colored them and then copied it down through there. And that worked perfectly. So this part, the original Main Street on the other side, the Swiss and German version, is mostly based upon Kings Island Main Street. For this one, it's kind of a combination of Canada's Wonderland and Kings Dominion. Canada's Wonderland also has an International Main Street as well, but it doesn't have an Eiffel Tower. They built the Wonder Mountain there instead. But it does have the International Main Street, so it's still a Kiko park. I like to call it Kiko. It's Kings Entertainment Corporation Organization. I don't know what the CEO stands for, but I know the first part is Kings Entertainment. So yeah, for this build, I put a lot of pieces from the new vintage set into place, including those fences. Those work really great as railings and stuff up along these sides. I also, one thing that's different about this side, just this first half of the main street is over 1,800 pieces when I got done here. And the entire other side of Main Street, the Swiss and German side of the street, altogether was only 1,200 and something. So just for this, just the first half of this Main Street is already over the piece count than what the original one was. So what you're seeing me now do is the Spanish section has these little stairs that kind of go up there. I don't know what they ever actually go up to. I think it's just there for looks. But I was wanting to put those in there because I really like that. And then I had to put a little piece up there to make our wooden railings and stuff. And oh, okay, so now we're just going to skip ahead. Let's start working on the Italian section now of this side of the street. So the Italian sections, they have these cool towers, and both the one at Canada's Wonderland King's Dominion are almost identical except for colors and a couple other little things. So for this one I kind of did a combination. It's mostly, I want to say it's mostly Canada's Wonderland, but it also has a bit of King's Dominion mixed into it, which I will show you here in a minute with what I did. But yeah, I just basically I built the tower up, and I put these block pieces up and down through there. There's not really a whole lot I can really say about what I'm doing that you can't see me do on the screen. I do apologize that the stream seems like sped up really fast. That's because it is. I did this like 3 times. So it's actually about probably 12 times speed. And I did that because this is like 6 hours of footage put into this. This is me working all week long. And also on my stream on Friday night as well, plus some time after that as well, after I got done streaming, that I put into it as well. So we have like 6 hours of footage all rolled into about 15 minutes here. But all in all, I mean, I loved how this side of the street came out. It's great, it's fantastic, and it's a fantastic start to our International Street and the rest of the park. And I'm so happy to finally get this part done. At the end of the video, I'm actually going to show off the park and what we actually, or not the park, but I'm going to show off the entire Main Street more slow motion. So we'll look at everything in detail, and that way you guys can kind of see. So we'll do a showcase for what I did. What I'm building now, this is a building, I think it's a, okay, so since it's based on Canada's Wonderland King's Dominion, both of these have their Emporium in the Spanish and Italian section, while Kings Island has their Emporium set in the German section. So instead of having all the buildings rolled into one big Emporium on this side of the street, we have it on the other side, which is in our Swiss section there. And, oh no, it's actually the German section on the other side of the street. So basically for this side, we have to figure out what else this is going to be. So I'm thinking these are kind of going to be shops and restaurants and other stuff like that down through here. Maybe coffee houses. We don't know just yet. I haven't specifically put in, what I really want these buildings to be. All I know is that I just kind of wanted to build them the best way that I could and make them, nice and very, very featured and very detailed. And I think I did a pretty good job of that, if I do say so myself. For the rest of this, I don't think there's a whole lot else I can really say. I guess I can answer a couple questions. So some people have asked me, how did I get to the, what is the street cover that I'm using there? It's actually the Victorian flat roof piece from the new vintage set. And I found just the right color to make it look like bricks, and I covered the entire street in that because it almost looks identical to the street at Kings Island, and I was very, very happy with that. So that's what I'm using for those. I also continued along on this side, which you'll see in the showcase video at the end, by getting the path. I had to basically flatten the land out, put the path as close to the water's edge as I could, put the picnic tables down, and then delete the path, and then I had to flatten the path out to the edge of the fountain again. So that was kind of difficult. Oh yeah, right here, what I'm doing right now is, this is something that I worked on for a little bit. A couple people in my stream weren't happy with the arches I had there that I was originally doing, and I was like, you know what, I'm not either. Let's see if we can figure out another way to do that. So I tried some different things, and this is the only thing I could find that kind of worked, was using the basic shapes. And to do that, only problem with it is they're just a bit too thick for what I wanted, and I'd much rather have them be like thinner right there, but there's just no way to get around it other than being, like I could take and maybe put small ones all the way around there to make like a, I don't know, like circles, but that's just going about it the long way, and I didn't want to do that. So instead we do this, and it works out pretty good. This is going to be like a little cafe kind of thing in there, where I'll probably put some picnic tables and things in there, and have where people can come in and just kind of sit and have coffee or something. Since our park is located in Kentucky, I think this blue building right over here that I was just working on is going to be a UK Wildcats shop, because people in Kentucky love their Wildcats apparel. And I think it would be a good money market for the the actual park to go into as well, to get some licensed UK Wildcat apparel in there, because people love their basketball stuff here. Not so much the football. Our football team sucks, but our college basketball team, they usually do really, really well every single year. I'm not a huge basketball fan myself. I don't know too much about the sports ball, but I do know enough. My ex-girlfriend was a huge UK basketball fan, and she got me to watching it. And it is kind of fun and exciting to watch every now and then when they're playing really, really well against a team that they may actually lose against. Like when they're back when I first got into it, when she had me first watching it, it was like they was such a good team that it was like every basketball game was just like, meh, this is boring, because they were winning so heavily. It's like 100-0 or something like that, and that's how she had me watching it. I was like, this isn't exciting. The only time it's exciting is when they're almost ready to lose, and then it gets kind of picked up. But I digress. Enough about the sports ball, because that's not what you guys are here for. So now I'm working on this tower right here, and again I went with the I'm not a huge fan of how this came out, but I don't know of any other way to do it. I had to do a custom roof, and I wanted it to be the Spanish tile kind of set, so I used the pose and stuff the way I did the other roofs and stuff on there. And man, I just wish we could recolor them or something. I don't know, it just looks like I put a bunch of Tootsie Rolls and put them on top of the building. It's like a candy shop or something. This is actually going to be the park's pizza place, though. In Kings Island, it's known as La Rosa's, which is some of the best theme park pizza you can get in the country, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I haven't had pizza from anybody else's theme parks, but I know La Rosa's is extremely famous in the Cincinnati area, and it's the only theme park that you can get La Rosa's at. And people love the La Rosa's, so it's pretty good as far as I'm concerned. Now, I'm not saying it's the best pizza in the world. I'm just saying it's the best theme park pizza in the country. So, and yeah, so Kings Island has theirs located on, their International Main Street. They've actually got a few of them all throughout the park, and one of them is on the Main Street, and that's usually where I eat it at. That or Rivertown. But yeah, I was thinking, since that's the Italian section, that would be a great place to put the pizza place there, which is actually, it's exactly where it's at Canada's Wonderland. Canada's Wonderland has, and King's Dominion has one called, I think it's just called Pizza Place or something, and it's not real La Rosa's, but that's where theirs is. Now, the weird thing is that Kings Island and King's Dominion's International Main Streets are so different from each other as far as like these sides, because their Spanish section at Kings Island doesn't even look Spanish at all. The Italian section doesn't really look Italian either. So, but King's Dominion came later, and I felt like they were kind of sloppy at Kings Island, and then when they did the one at King's Dominion, it was like so much better looking as far as the Main Street. So I really like that. But I do like Kings Island's German and Swiss section better. So it's a give and take. We're borrowing things from from three different, basically, parks. So all in all, yeah, so this is kind of how everything came together. And that puts us at the end of our time lapse. So from here, let's go ahead and jump into the live showcase here, and we will take a closer look at the finished street, shall we? Okay, here we are in the actual finished street. Well, not completely finished. I still have a lot more like flowers and adding foliage and just doing like a lot of cleanup and things, but all in all, I mean, as far as the actual Main Street goes, this is pretty close to being finished. At least it's showcaseable anyway. That's the way I look at it. I did hire a couple of janitors who are not doing their jobs and may have to get a couple more. So the first thing we have over here, and you didn't actually see me build this in the video, but we have this sweet spot where you can get all kinds of fudge, gourmet apples, candies, all kinds of just like goodies, basically. This is the candy shop, the main candy shop for the entire park right here. It's been a staple of at least Kings. I don't know about King's Dominion because I've never been there, or Canada's Wonderland, but I can say for sure that Kings Island has always had that one candy spot that was always up front, as far as I remember, where, I mean, it's just so full of candy. And it recently got renamed into Sweet Spot. It used to be a little further back. Well, actually, the original one is right up front, and then now it's further back on the street. But yeah, this was it's a fairly new thing where they called it Sweet Spot, and I really loved having this in here. I use those new font from Uikens, which you've been seeing on some of the Bro Coaster videos and stuff here lately. Jubilee Gardens, I think, used it, a few other people. It fit this really well, but it is still just slightly too big. But I was able to still make it work, and I really like how this shop came out. It just needs a little bit more detail work, but all in all, still pretty good. Then we have the finished staircase with, I put some little bit of trees and stuff in there. Now, right here on this tree, you'll see that this is actually 3 different trees. It's a dead tree combined with 2 of the beech trees, and I made that work pretty good for what I needed it for right there, to kind of combine all those together. And then we'll just keep moving on down the street here. And you can see I've colored all the buildings and stuff now to give them a very dynamic, eye-popping kind of color. And I really love how that came out as well. Just lots of detail work. I added some potted plants and stuff down through here. Here we can get a better look at my Spanish tiling that I did. I really like that. It's actually been a photo in my reference photos that I've been wanting to do for a while now, and I'm glad I was able to actually get that finally put into it. I'm hoping to catch some of the guests and stuff sitting at some of the benches, but since obviously our person left that was working here, we don't have any restaurants over here, so getting them to do that. And something else I'm going to have to fix is this is just one big path down through this street, so I'm going to have to put in some borders and some things to keep them from walking into stuff or walking through things. But still, that's not a major issue. And you'll see the pirate ship back there. That is about where the pirate ship is going to go. But I still have a lot more work to do on that, so that may be the next episode you see from the park. But I think we're going to do the dancing fountains probably next before we do that. Alright, so moving on down the street, let's take a look at the Italian area here, and you can see what I did with using the overhangs and some of the scavola and just the plants and stuff to really make that kind of pop right there as well. Wow, now they're all coming down through there. I have no bathrooms in the park. Oh, perfect, right over here. Let's take a look at these before we go any further. So, there's literally no path right here where these picnic tables are, but yet they will still come over and sit on them, which works out perfectly. Because if I put path there, I had to flatten the land out all the way back over to here to get the water right up to the edge. So you can see how close that water is to the edge right there. That's a neat little trick that I got to work, and I'm very happy with. We're going to have a caricatures stand right here, or face painting stand. It's going to be right there. That has to be added in there. I will do that another time. My genders are not working. Oh, and there's Sterling, our archer, for scale right there. Glad to see he's in the way. And then we still have a little bit of some signage and stuff to do down through the street as well. But yeah, just like I said, I just wanted to kind of showcase this and show off all the little detail work and the colors and everything down through here. Just the finished product, basically. Oh, we got pigeons flying through walls. That's funny. There's that little cafe area that's going to go in there. I'll put some tables back in there. Like I said, this is probably going to be the UK Wildcat shop right here. And then, of course, we're going to have the pizza place right here. And you can see the ornaments and how I did the side of the wall and everything much better there. Along with our little tower there. And then we have the Eiffel Tower right there. And then heading over to the other side of the street. You'll notice my coaster is on that side of the street now. I'm still trying to figure out exactly where I'm going to put it. I'm still working on that way. So we're going to end today's episode with just another kind of slow kind of stroll down the street so you guys can see everything. And it's just about finished glory down through this side. And hopefully you guys have enjoyed this episode. Since we are coming up on the end of it here, I just want to make sure everybody, if you haven't already subscribed to me, make sure you do that. Click that button down below that says subscribe. And also make sure you click the bell to get notified when all of my next videos and stuff go live as well. You can also check me out on my Twitter and twitch.tv at the same name, Shadow Phoenix. Welcome you guys to join me on Fridays and Saturdays when I stream live on Twitch, and of course keep up with me on my Twitter account as well. And I also have a Discord with the link down below in the video description. You can check that out, join on Discord, chat with me, see what some of our other Discord members are up to. Lots of cool stuff going on in there. And with that, that's going to be the end of our second part of our main street here. So I think, like I said, next time, the next video will be the construction of the dancing fountains here in the Royal Fountains. They have two different names. Basically, the Royal Dancing Fountains is, I think, the official name for them. So we're going to do some special effects and stuff on that with some displays and things to kind of get that going out pretty well. I actually can't wait to kind of get started on that. So I hope you guys have liked this. I worked really hard on it. I really did. And I hope everybody is enjoying this and likes what I've done so far on this side of the street. I think it's hard to decide which side of the street I like better, but I'm kind of leaning more to this side just a little bit. But I do like the Swiss and German architecture a little better. So I don't know. It's tough. I did more work on this side though. But anywho, thanks for joining me today. Wherever you guys are in the world, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the support, guys.